Yesterday, we launched the new battle mechanics for Stoke Fire, so I'm going to show you how it works and talk about some of the new strategy elements that this adds to the game. Okay, so only get these new battle mechanics once you have grown your village to above a score of 30. If you're below 30, then you still play the battle mechanics the same way it was before. And so you only upgrade to this after you've gotten to level 30. And actually, the upgrade time happens after you reveal and you're over a score of 30. So at that point, you'll see kind of like this text cut screen that kind of shows you some information, and then you'll kind of move forward to being able to allocate villagers to your battles, which is the main kind of new thing to our battle mechanics. So if you go in the Relations tab, you'll see at the top, you can set up your defense, and you can also update your defense now. So if you click on this, I already have a defense set, and kind of what this is showing is this number right here is how many villagers you're setting to defend your 30 food that you have. And the max villagers that I have is 30. And so I could, split my villagers amongst both of these resources if I wanted to try to defend both of them. Or I could have my villagers just defend my wood and have 0 for the food. And so you're setting up your defense knowing that raiders are going to come and they're going to try to raid one of your resources. And they're going to kind of guess, maybe based on what you've done, your previous actions, what resource you're going to be defending. And they don't know where you're putting your villagers. All they do know, which I'll show you, is how many defenders you have total, but they don't know where they are, how many you're allocating to wood or food. And so there's some different strategy that comes up around there. And so then you can update this at any time, and these villagers are being used. They're being allocated as long as you have them set on your defense. And after you've revealed and the battle's over, then you'll have 0 defenders defending, and you can set this again. At some point, you could update this to 0 if you want to go do something else with your villagers here. There's a bug currently where it doesn't let you do 0. So right now, you could set to 1, but I'm going to fix that later today. So so you can set your villagers. And how this works then is that whoever has the most villagers at a resource, the attackers, the raiders, or the defenders, wins. And if it's a tie, then the defenders win. And you'll get around 20 to 30% of the villager score in resources, and you'll get that food or you'll get that wood depending on what it is. The other thing to note is, say I have a lot of villagers here at wood and the raiders only attack my food, I'm not going to win anything as a defender because there was no battle that took place here. There's no raiders that came and tried to raid my wood. So even though I had these villagers here, in some ways they were kind of wasted. And so that's where, you got to make good decisions on where you're allocating your villagers. So that's the defense. So we have some villagers allocated. Now, one thing that will be helpful for you to know is if you click on your profile here, it will then show you where all of your villagers are at. So you can see that I have 3 villagers defending right now. I have 0 villagers raiding, which we're about to change that. I have 27 unused, and I have 0 that are chopping and gathering. So this is key to know, is that the number of villagers you have defending is public. It's on the blockchain, and it has to be so that, whenever you're doing other things, we know on the blockchain that you have that many villagers or not. And so the raiders are going to know how many defenders you have. You have to keep that in mind. But they're not going to know what resources you're defending. And actually, I'm going to make this more evident on the Relations tab. So when someone raids, it'll actually show this player's defending, but also they're defending with this many villagers, because that is public data. Just something to kind of keep in mind. And so there's a lot more, hopefully, it'll be interesting to see the different strategies that people kind of pull out of this. But as you can see, there's a lot more things you can do with your villagers. And so you're going to have to kind of think where you want to allocate them, what makes sense. The other part of this update is once you get over score 30, whenever you send villagers to chop wood or gather food, they get those resources at a double the rate, basically, because now you have to do more with your villagers, and so you are able to get more food still, even with less villagers, because you're going to have to use up villagers for raiding and defending. Okay, so here's now the raid pop up. If we want to raid this test 2 guy, we can see that he has 7 wood, he has 1 food. We have an opportunity to get 6 to 9 food or wood depending on what we raid. And so we can kind of, have our different strategies. If we think that we have the chance to steal both of these, we could do that. We just have to have more villagers than he has defending. Or if we want to allocate all of our villagers to just go get that wood, and we really want to get that wood, that's possible too. And like I said, we can only see what he's defending. He's got 11 villagers defending right now. And I'll make that more evident on this screen here. So in some ways, this is kind of easy, right? Because we know that we can for sure go win one of these with like 12 villagers. If I just have 12 villagers, I know I can win this. And I'm probably going to go for wood because there's more of that resource. And I'm not going to even waste any on food because there's not much there. And so let's just click raid village. And that's how you raid a village. And then, that other player then has to reveal what happened there. Okay, so you can see that I just raided with 13 villagers, as it says there. And the key thing to know is that those villagers they're allocated. They are kind of locked up in a way for the next 6 hours because you can do a raid every 6 hours. And so those villagers are kind of being used. They're out on their raid, right? And so you have to know that like whenever you send villagers out in raid, that's like kind of using them up. Similar to when you go gather food and chop wood, like they're used up for that time slot until they come back, until that cooldown is over. And so you can come here to your profile to see where your villagers are at any one time. You can see I have 13 raiding now. I have only 3 defending. The defenders, I can update, I can move them. I have 14 unused. And so you'll just have to kind of strategize around where is the optimal place for you to spend your villagers' time and know that they're kind of locked up until they kind of come back from that job or whatever. So yeah, I'm interested to see kind of what people do, what strategies kind of come out of this, because there's more options. Like that's the whole point of this, is to have some more interesting decisions that you can make with these strategies. So enjoy the battles, enjoy the raids. I'll see you out there. Keep stoking the fire.